WadeLabecki, Deputy Director for the WIAA, Administrator for Wrestling. The Wisconsin State Tournament is now underway. There's a lot of excitement around the event. What do you look forward to most about this event each year?
You know, I always look forward to the first whistle because now we have everything rolling. It's a little stressful, as you might know, when you got a women's basketball game the night before and you don't get in here until 6 this morning. You got to get everything ready to go, and first whistle's at 3 o'clock. So I'm always happy with the first whistle. And then, I look forward to that championship. It's very hard to describe if you're not seeing it in person. It's unique. It's fantastic. It's the best championship event that we have in the WIA, in my opinion.
Yeah, so you've been coming to the event for a long time. You became Deputy Director in 2009, but have been to this event a lot of times throughout the years prior to that. What's some of your best memories about this event?
The first time I remember going to wrestling was actually at the field house. And, it brings back memories at the team wrestling, but I can remember just the excitement the first time the lights went out for the Grand March and that. And then, the first time here in 2000 when they first had it, the first one here was in '99, and we had some wrestlers from Baldwin Woodville who made it here in 2000 as well. And it was just a complete different atmosphere. The ice is a little bit colder than obviously at the field house. So it's always been fantastic memories coming through. And now when you're involved in the planning, you see how much more there is involved. You come here and watch, you sit in the stands, you watch some of the matches. You don't really understand what all goes into it.
Yeah, and so you mentioned the field house. We had the Wrestling State Championships there for a long time. It was smaller. You couldn't fit as many people into there. There was some neat things about it in the sense that people were right on top of the wrestling. It was really loud, but it just didn't allow us to grow the crowd. And in the past few years, the crowd continues to grow. Attendance in here, I think, has been really good the past few years. Can you just talk about that a little bit and what you think has contributed to the attendance growing?
Well, really, when you think about it, I think the field house, when the wrestling matches were in there, held somewhere between 5,000 and 8,000, maybe, the high end of 7,000. But yesterday at the state championships in session 5, or last year in the state championships in session 5, we had a record crowd of 13,920. It was sold out, and we're anticipating that that's a potential this year. So if people are planning on coming, they need to buy their tickets, call ahead of time, and make sure that they're there. We will sell general admission for people who don't show up. So we actually oversell so everybody gets a seat. So I really had a great crowd last year, and it was electric. You could just feel it. And our attendance overall is about 63,000. So I think as the economy is getting better, people are coming down. There's a great interest in wrestling. So it's just, like I said, it's a great tournament. I don't know if it gets any better.
Yeah, it's extremely exciting, on semifinals, finals night when this place starts to get packed and people start to really get into it. The crowds are erupting. It's pretty exciting. So as Deputy Director for the WIA, you obviously have to make a lot of tough calls. Often unpopular with some people. You recently had to declare 8 wrestlers from De Pere ineligible to compete at the sectional. Can you just talk about that a little bit and maybe what went into that decision and maybe a little bit about the situation?
It's just disheartening when you have people who, you have to remove from the tournament. That was not a pleasant week. I don't think that, I slept for an entire week once we really found out, dug into it. So it really was disheartening. It was disappointing. It's heartbreaking for those kids, so it's never real pleasant. And, that's not the only group of kids that we had to pull out. We had some kids that we pulled out for academic issues, and we had 2 that we pulled out because of code violations in addition to the 8 that you mentioned. The school did a great job. They were up front. They were notified by another member school that they had too many multis. They counted them up. They called our office, and in our office they evaluated it. They used the spreadsheet that the school provided, and we also used the backside of track wrestling. And what we try to do is we don't like to pull kids out, so we try to find a way to make them eligible. And when we were going through the schedules, it appeared that the kids didn't wrestle in more than 7. So tentatively we let them wrestle in regionals. You'd rather err on the side of caution. You don't want to pull somebody out and then a week later find out, hey, we should have let them in because there's no way to insert them into sectionals once the regionals are done. So they got to wrestle. And then the following Wednesday, one of our sectional hosts had several coaches calling him and saying this isn't right. So we pulled out the records again, and we walked through the track wrestling program on a different side, and we saw that there was a difference here and a difference there. and when they didn't match. So when we dug deeper, we found out they were ineligible. You know, it's something that I guess happens. It's not a good thing to happen, but you have to follow the rules, and we have to apply the rules, and that's what we did. So in the place of those 6 other wrestlers did come in and wrestle. But, you know, it was a real sad day, you know, and we went through the due process, went through the appeal process, went through everything. But in the end, we couldn't let them wrestle. So, you know, it's not easy. It's the worst part of the job is to go ahead and take something away from kids, you know, even especially when it's an adult mistake. But in the end, I guess, you know, we had to do that. So.
Yeah, there's rules and you have to follow them. And if you don't follow the rules, I mean, yeah, it's a tough situation for everyone, I'm sure. You've done a lot of things since 2009, you know, when you became deputy director or administrator of wrestling in Wisconsin. What are some of the improvements or things that you're most proud of that you've been able to do for wrestling?
You know, there's a whole lot of little things. You know, obviously Don Herman did the wrestling, and then when he moved it here in '99, and Dave Anderson followed him up, and then I took over in 2009. And when I first started, we were still doing paper. We still were doing, we had a big hallway that we blocked off, and that was a locker room where all the kids changed in there, and it's right off the cheerleading area. So it's little things like that where we clean up that locker room area. We moved the bag check, made that more efficient so kids can now use the locker rooms, the physical locker rooms. That helped the efficiency there. Our weigh-ins have become more efficient. Today we changed the way the kids enter the arena, because now there's a metal detector. So everybody who comes in, all the fans get metal detected. Well, we wanted to get more efficient with the wrestlers and the coaches, and that worked out great. We got them all in 34 minutes. So, I mean, it used to take us, they'd be all the way back up to Dayton Street. Those are the little things that people don't see here. The biggest thing, in my opinion, and I'm sorry, but is the fact that we've got track wrestling here. We now have a computer at every table. They're all scored. They're live on the internet. We stream. And we've got a big scoreboard that tells everybody who's on deck, who's next. That has made everything extremely efficient. We have been on time the last 2 years for every session, and I attribute that directly to us being efficient with the technology. And what a fantastic improvement. Everybody knows who's on what mat. They know who's up or who's next. You can look for that marquee match. Now it's easier to find, because if you're just a casual wrestling fan, it was difficult to do. You had to be a diehard fan. Now everybody gets to enjoy that experience. Grandma who's here for the first time knows when her grandson's out there wrestling. So I just think the efficiency is just fantastic. That's probably the biggest improvement we've made.
Yeah, and one of the things that's interesting, I think, is people think, you know, if you put the event out there, you stream it, let people watch from home, people won't show up. Quite the opposite seems to be true here. It seems like you get more people showing up. What do you think, why do you think more people actually show up to the event when you're broadcasting it out in that many different ways?
Well, one, I think that the excitement builds. So, you know, right now you got the D1 wrestling, and, you know, stadium is about, maybe a half full, and now the D2 and 3 are starting to come in, and it'll start to fill up, but it seems that you're never really wrestling with the entire crowd there. But as you're watching at home and you're watching the kids progress, now you'll see them go to the semifinals. Now you're starting to pique your interest, and you can come to Saturday, you come down and watch the match. There's nothing like being here live. And, you know, some would argue the semifinals are as exciting, if not more exciting, than the championships, because you've got 6 matches going, and that's really where all the marbles are out there. You know, I mean, it's time to show up, get to the Saturday, otherwise you're not going to get there. So the emotions, I believe, are higher on that night, and I think people, when they're in the stands, can feel that. Wrestling is such a special and unique sport. That's part of it, and the crowds are more educated in their sport in wrestling. You know, in basketball, you can go there and you can watch a game and you understand the basics. But in wrestling, those fans know what the takedowns are. They know how the points are scored. They know the near falls. They know all of that. And you can hear the roars. You know, it's a unique sport. It's always some shouting going on, always whistles going on, 6 mats going on. It's just awesome. It's an awesome experience in person.
Yeah, it is. So you're sitting and, you know, watching your mat, and all of a sudden you hear the crowd erupt, and you can just instantly look over and see exactly what's going on and be part of that excitement. You can't do that with any other way.
No, and you can watch that, and the crowd gets you into that. You know, and sometimes it gets over emotional, but for the most part, we've been pretty lucky on that end. But, you know, last year or 2 years ago when Zach England showed up for the first point, I don't think anybody expected to see him out there. And it was so unique and so special. And then last year we had the semifinal, I think it was, with Zach and with help me out here with Casey Kilty.
Yep.
So we had a girl wrestler and we had a wrestler who had some physical disabilities. It was an awesome match, and this place was rocking and everybody was standing, and it was a standing ovation at the end. That's unique to this sport. You don't have that in the other sports. You have moments, but never those long, extended, special moments.
Yeah, that was a pretty special one. So obviously you're not looking to be done as being the administrator of wrestling for a while here. What would you still like to accomplish? What are some things that are hanging out there that you'd really like to see done that maybe haven't gotten done yet?
We've talked to the coaches. The coaches, we talked about seeding the state wrestling tournament, the team tournament. I think that's on the horizon. The board just allowed basketball or soccer to seed their team tournament and allowed hockey to seed their state tournament. So we'll bring it back to the wrestling coaches. Is this something you're interested in? Do you want to seed the state team tournament? You and I know I'd love to see the individual wrestling tournament seeded. I think that would be, I think that would set up some awesome semifinals, and it would be an awesome championship. There'd be upsets, but you wouldn't see some of these quarterfinal matches that are number 1 and 2 going against them there. So those are two things I think could really enhance the experience, one for the wrestlers and two for the fans. I think they're good. Finally, and the coaches aren't on board on this yet, I would like them to consider bringing a team tournament here on Thursday and then allowing the people who come down for this tournament to experience the team tournament. Right now we probably get maybe 2,800 at the most on semifinals for divisions 2 and 3. I would love to go ahead and see if we couldn't pack this place in and get 7,000 to 8,000 to watch the team tournament on Thursday. Stay here, put 8 mats out here, and run the individual tournament on Friday, Saturday. That's down the road. That's not a proposal, so I don't want anybody to panic yet. But, down in the future, I think those are the things that we should look at, because not everybody can afford to come down to Madison 2 weekends in a row. And that would, all of these people would be here right now that you see here right now would be here watching that team tournament on Thursday. I think it would add a lot of fun to that.
Yeah, it certainly could. Well, it's been great talking to you. Get this tournament underway. Good luck for the rest of the event.
Appreciate it.
Yep.